Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Don't Breathe, starring Stephen Lang, Jane Levy, Dylan Minnette, and Daniel Zovato, directed by Fede Alvarez, who I've discussed before with The Girl in the Spider's Web, and we'll get to his Evil Dead sometime this year. Now, I have seen this movie before, and did I remember liking it then? Let's get into it. In a small town in Detroit, Michigan, we see the blind man named Norman Nordstrom, played by Stephen Lang, dragging Rocky played by Jane Levy as we go backwards to earlier in the day and meet Rocky as well as Alex, played by Dylan Minnette, and Money, played by Daniel Zavato, as they rob a house because they're thieves and Rocky wants to go to California with, and this is an arc to the character I kind of enjoyed in this movie, while Alex wants to stay in Detroit for his father reasons. And this is the dilemma Alex will have to go through for about half the movie. They get to the house for a robbery job to steal. They get a house robbery job, I should rephrase it as, to steal 300K in a safe from Norman, as they don't know this yet, which makes perfect sense. Rocky has a little sister named Diddy, as her mother with her boyfriend is absolutely fucking abusive, and tells Rocky her father leaving was her fault, as it wasn't in Rocky's fault, and she talks about moving to California with her as she wants to go to the beach as it's not summertime in Detroit. And as the three robbers are researching the house, Alex decides to go to California with Rocky and Money as Norman's dog scares the shit out of them. And that's when they learn he's blind. And that didn't scare me as much, as it was more startling than scary. Nighttime comes and they rob the house, and as they put the dog asleep, and as they're locked out, they can't get in, and Rocky is small to the point she can come inside from a small window and breaks the glass and puts herself in through, and I like the Rocky character and the Rocky Alex, and I like the way they act well together, but Money comes off like a douchebag, but luckily he gets killed rather early. And I like how menacing Stephen Lang is in this movie, more than Avatar, in my opinion. They get in the house to find the safe full of money, as Norman was a veteran and does wake up. And as he hears sounds of robbers coming in his house, and wakes up around 2:30 in the morning, I would say. And Money puts in some sleeping gas in Norman's room. And while they try to get the money, as Alex leaves, Norman encounters the robbers and kills off Money, and Norman can hear them breathe. And this is why the movie is called Don't Breathe to begin with, which is the perfect title for the movie. And I'm liking the first 30 minutes as a thriller. It'll probably get worse a little later. Alex comes back and almost bumps into Norman as they pass each other, and he witnesses Norman locking up the house and puts a piece of wood on the window so nobody can see it, as Rocky hides in the closet, as Norman makes sure the money is safe and secure. And Rocky witnesses that, as I'm thinking she could see the code, but Alex tries to find Rocky in the closet, and she puts in the code, and I thought, oh shit, they're fucked now. As she takes the money out, Norman is somewhere nearby as he encounters Rocky and Alex and tries super hard not to breathe, while Norman drags Money's body out, and Alex makes an accidental noise while stepping. And I have a problem with this stealing the money at this point and that is, the movie tells others to stealing is the right thing to do if you want to move out of the place you live at, as they might get away by the end of the movie, which is a problematic, sick plot, to be perfectly honest. Not only do I not like the plot, but if you rob a blind man in real life and think it's okay, not only is that fucked up, but whatever thinks like that, or whoever thinks like that, their whole fucking life, in my opinion, should go to hell for that. That's a pretty stupid plot. That's just my opinion, by the way, folks. Norman finds out there's others in the house and his money is stolen by the robbers. And as Rocky and Alex try to escape, they find a woman who is trapped and he hears it coming down the basement. And Rocky and Alex try to get the woman out of the house because she killed Norman's daughter. And he shoots the woman but kind of hits Alex with the bullet. But he's still fine as they run and hide. And Norman finds out he shot the woman he was going to impregnate to have a child as he kills her. And I don't get what the plot to that was, but maybe when it progresses by the end of the movie, maybe I'll get it. Norman turns off the light, and as it gets extra dark, we barely see where everyone is at, which is sort of a smart choice. Rocky almost touches Norman, but Alex calls Rocky, and Norman almost chokes the life out of Alex, but he manages to escape while Rocky and they encounter the dog. And I'm not scared for the characters, despite it. I like the ones who remain for the plot, but honestly, I didn't really care whether they lived or died, and I think that's my main problem with the movie, as it does a good job making Norman the scariest murderer in the movies. As based on the trailer for the next movie, he's like a blind hero unless it's a prequel. I don't know anything about the new one. Alex gets out of the house but fails to some other glass on a roof, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm caring as much whether or not he lives or dies. By the end of the movie, Alex wakes up and Norman shoots the glass, as I'm thinking the motherfucker is dead at this point. But he's still comes back alive, which came off as a shock to me. And I do like there's a shock in this movie, despite the movie is not that scary. But it's a scary situation, sure. Alex is eventually killed by Norman, and I wasn't feeling bad for him at this point on. Rocky tries to escape, but is captured by Norman and hangs her trapped, but he doesn't kill her, but traps her. And Jane Levy pulls off Scared pretty damn well, as Stephen Lang does a good job of being a menace in the movie, like I said earlier. We learn from Norman the woman he killed earlier was pregnant with this child and is holding Rocky accountable. But wait a minute, Alex is still alive, and how the fuck is he still alive? As he taps the dog, which didn't make much fucking sense to me. Norman puts a tube of sperm in Rocky's you-know-where. Please don't make me say the word, as it's not one of my favorite words, because he's not a rapist. And Alex comes in to save Rocky's life, and she beats up on Norman and puts the sperm in his mouth, which fucking grossed me out, as Norman tells Rocky and Alex to take the money and get out of his house. And that was a scene I really do not like. Alex is shot by Norman, and Rocky leaves the house, and the dog goes after Rocky and chases her to the car as they come in with and traps the dog, which was a good idea to trap something attacking you in the trunk, as I did like the idea. Rocky gets kidnapped by Norman, and we get back to what we saw in the first scene, which was Norman dragging Rocky back to the house, and Rocky triggers the alarm so he can beat up on Norman and get out of there alive, as she injures him, not really killing him, as the movie ends with Rocky and her sister Diddy at a train station to go to California, as the execution of the material was done rather poorly in my opinion. But nice try. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.8 out of 10. This movie had a sick plot, like stealing a blind man's safe money, which is fucked up in general, as I wasn't the biggest fan of the plot. I do like the characters, but unfortunately not enough for me to care whether they lived or died by the end of the day, as I don't necessarily feel bad for them. The movie does have some good ideas, which I'm hoping the new movie will have better ideas than here out, as I can tell you. It's a sequel, or if it I can't tell you if it's a sequel or a prequel, but the movie is a mild non-recommendation because it's executed kind of poorly, but good try on director Fede Alvarez's part. But let's see if it improves next time. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Don't Breathe 2. And until then, don't breathe. He can hear you.